My name is Joyce Agik.
I'm Jackson Munayo.
My name is Siama Abbas.
My name is Philip Okwangiro.
My name is Naomi Akot.
Okay, my name is Gaetano Msumba.
Yeah, my name is Lucy Tengeye.
Yeah, my name is Sophia Yega.
My name is Loltwa John.
Women Education Researchers of Kenya is an implementing partner in the Operation Come to School campaign, which is funded by Educate a Child through UNICEF and supported by the government of Kenya. This unique partnership set out to bring 20,000 out-of-school children in Nairobi County back to school and retain them by June 2018. This was to ensure that they complete the learning cycle for primary school and make the transition into secondary school. The Operation Come to School project was rolled out in 8 sub-counties, targeting 350 public primary schools and selected alternative provision of basic education and training institutions in Embakasi, Starehe, Kamkunji, Makadara, Mathare, Kasarani, Westlands and Dagoretti. To ensure the retention of 20,000 out-of-school children, 50% of them girls, the Women Education Researchers of Kenya set out to build the capacity and sensitize the local communities as well as education officials at both national and county levels, boards of management and the children themselves to mount vigorous sustained enrollment and attendance drives. Through the project, UNICEF branded back-to-school kits were distributed to the neediest children to facilitate and motivate school enrollment. Partial scholarships were also availed for the most vulnerable children. The project further improved the skills of the stakeholders in the child-friendly standards model to enhance retention and learning through the supply of relevant teaching and learning materials, with the materials developed by Women Education Researchers of Kenya and the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development. In addition, short remedial catch-up classes for average children were conducted, and county-level systems, including county attendance enrollment drive strategies and the documentation of county-level best practices in enrollment drives were undertaken.
As a women's organization and as a professional organization, our interest is not only to get the children into school, but to get them to school and ensure that they are learning and they are retained and that they transit from one level to the other. So for us, as an organization, Operation Come Back to School goes beyond what probably the expectation of the donor is, because we want to see that the children are retained, that they are learning, and that they are transit to the different level.
This initiative is critical in terms of helping giving WERK a platform to make a contribution towards what will be realizing the right, the very, very cardinal and important right to all the children. So for us, it's a critical opportunity that we could make a contribution in terms of providing the infrastructure through which the innovative approaches will be realized. As a research organization, we pride ourselves in exploring different methodologies, particularly around action research on what is it that will work in solving the challenges in education that are available, considering that our background is mostly research, but even more so linking this research to advocacy.
According to the 2009 Kenya Household Population Census, an estimated 1.9 million primary school children aged 6 to 13 years and 2.7 million children aged 14 to 17 years were out of school. Some of the barriers and bottlenecks that perpetuate this phenomenon become more pronounced during the period of adolescence and manifested particularly in the high inequalities witnessed in girls' access to education and the dropout rates from primary school. Education officials estimate that 20% of boys and girls leave school after primary class 7 and another 20% between primary and secondary school. The gender disparities in education are visible. According to UNICEF, 1 in every 10 girls miss 4 days of school a month due to inability to access feminine hygiene products. Many families cannot afford the expenses associated with schooling. These include books, school uniform, stationery, lunch, and transport. Compulsory free primary and more recently secondary education was a positive policy move by the government of Kenya. However, the increased intake of learners has also meant that existing facilities are overstretched. Class sizes are too large and teachers are few. Learners share desks in cramped classrooms. It also means that sanitation facilities are overstretched and inadequate in many public schools. Fidelis Nahulo, the National Coordinator for Child-Friendly Schools Program, Florence Hungi, the Nairobi County Quality Assurance and Standards Officer, and Joyce Agik, a National Trainer on Child-Friendly Schools Program, emphasize that school facilities must be safe and in good condition to enhance the learning experience as well as keeping learning institutions at par with the requirements expected of child-friendly school environments.
The Child-Friendly Schools Program, therefore, emphasizes that school managers should ensure that the school is safe in all areas, Sometimes we find latrines that are unsafe in schools. Sometimes we find grounds that are unsafe in schools, maybe sloppy areas, maybe some holes dug by moles, and sometimes rocks protruding on the ground, which makes schools unsafe. Sometimes it's unfortunate that you find even the desks and chairs in school are actually dangerous. Sometimes you even find the classroom itself is dangerous. So this is something that needs to be given a lot of attention to ensure safety. A child-friendly environment is an environment where the child feels at home, feels comfortable, is able to do, to feel free to express themselves, to get the expected, self-space, adequate lighting, adequate air, ventilation, adequate sanitation, play field where children can go and play and get physical a little, and now the teacher delivery, the teacher's system of delivery should also be child friendly. So if they are delivering and they are friendly to the children, then the children will feel it is a friendly environment and they get motivated to continue being in school.
To talk about child-friendly school is a school whereby all children are accepted regardless of their age, gender or religious affiliation. And here we take children not as students, but we take them as our work. So when we train children, we use interactive methodologies of teaching, like the one that I was using. And in interactive methodologies of teaching, the teacher becomes the facilitator and children take charge of their learning. Stick them on your paper, stick them.
The UNICEF Water, Sanitation and Health Strategy was adopted to improve the sanitation conditions in support of school hygiene and as a means of boosting school attendance, especially for girls. As an important component in enhancing children's attention in school, the Operation Come to School has focused on the renovation of vital structures in targeted schools. These facilities include classrooms, ablution blocks, as well as the provision of UNICEF school kits, comprising stationery, sanitary items, including soaps, lotions, and sanitary pads for preteens and teenagers among the girls to support their personal hygiene. The teenage boys' pack includes soap and lotion. The schools also receive a sports kit with items such as balls, nets, and equipment to motivate and stimulate outdoor sports. Mrs. Valerie Ooro, the immediate former deputy head teacher at Ofafa Jericho Primary School in Nairobi, takes us through the renovations of the ablution blocks in the institution. During the tour, she describes the repairs made, how they have boosted hygiene, and led to the facelift of the school. Teachers and school management officials, including board members from various target schools, also share their thoughts on the developments.
Before UNICEF came up, we didn't have these sinks. So they came, they put the sinks for us. And as the headmistress had told you, the only problem that we have is water. That is why we don't have running water. And then they also renovated the doors. The doors, which we didn't have. If anything, they were there but very loose and weak. So they renovated all the doors for the toilets, and even they put up the cisterns for us because the ones that were there had been broken by the pupils. So they put up the new cisterns, they renovated the doors and painted, they even painted the walls, and that is why it's looking the way it is now.
Our toilets were at a very pathetic state. Yeah, there was none which could be drained out. There were blockage, and even the sewer lines had openings which were very dangerous to everybody's life. But the works made it. The renovation has made the place so beautiful and so conducive.
Kabla vyoo vikarabatiwe, vilikuwa katika hali sio ya kupendeza. Vilikuwa watoto kama kuna wale watoto walemavu hawangeweza kutumia hizo vyoo kwa sababu hawakuwa wamejengewa zao, lakini hao wafadhili walipokuja waliwajengea, zilikuwa mzuri, wakawa sasa wako kwa njia yenye ambao wanaweza kuitumia kwa hali nzuri.
We were able to visit the WERK office, and also educate the child organization, who actually had our plea and they accepted to come in and assist. And so far, they have actually assisted us in rehabilitating the existing toilets. We have about 52 units.
We want to thank you for recent innovation of our 52 toilets. Indeed, we had a lot of problem with the toilets because more often, or almost every time, our children complain of the severe diarrhea. And we realized that it is because of a lack of moving water. Because we need, after a child going, after he or she has gone to the toilet, has to wash his or her hands. So we did not have running taps, but right currently we are having them, and also we have painted the toilets. I think that will go a long way in mitigating stomach problem.
That project was very good. The one that you did, you renovated for us, and they are functional. If we go to the old ones and now we renovate, at least it will solve our problems. Because you get the challenges that we have is that you get the children come to school, some won't like to go to the toilets because they are dirty, and they stay like that. That affects their learning, because if you are going to go to the toilet at home because they fear that the toilets are bad, that child cannot learn well.
It has really improved, especially for the lower, because when the toilets are dirty, these children can even fall. So when there is water and they are clean, then it becomes safe for them. It is safe, both hygienically and also their physical safety. It is guaranteed.
In fact, the classes were in a pathetic state. The floor was not there. In fact, for the children to sweep, they had to pour water first because the place was so dusty. The floor was totally not there. The louvers were not there. Everything was pathetic. And if you look at the two classes, they are very beautiful.
Now with that population which is increasing, we have challenges building the classes. And I think I should thank WERK for helping us to establish the classes. And it's true we need to collaborate with them because the number is still swelling. This year, we have admitted 120 new pupils. So I would request WERK to continue working with us, help us establish more classes so that we can accommodate the increasing number of pupils.
We really appreciate the work that they are doing, but we still need them to come in to assist, especially in the construction of the classrooms. With the free primary education, the population has doubled or even tripled, but the major problem here now is the classrooms.
When these children came here, as we opened and they found their classes had been painted, they had been renovated, you should have seen the joy on their faces. They were very happy, and even now they don't want to go home because of the good environment, which they don't find anywhere else.
Our toilets are not enough to accommodate the 1650 children. Structures are there, but they are not fully renovated. We have structures, but in bad shape. So if we can get someone who can come on board and assist us renovate the toilets, we will be at place.
Users of the revamped classrooms and latrines in different schools narrate their renewed experiences with the rehabilitated structures.
They were not like that because they were dirty, and because at now, if you go, you can see them, they are very clean. Yes, but the main problem we have is water. If you can get water, it is very good.
The toilets here, I can say they're good, but sometimes the kids really dirtify it. But us, as big pupils, we go and take water and pure it. Now I can say that the toilets are really good. Before we got the new toilets, the environment was not that good. The smelling, it was just horrifying.
Our new toilets has helped us in many ways, such as from waterborne diseases such as cholera and typhoids, those kind of diseases. As you can see, there is water that we can wash our hands after helping ourselves from our toilet.
I can say thank you to the people who made our washroom because they were very untidy, they were very dirty, the sewage were broken up, and when visitors could come here, our head teacher could feel very uncomfortable.
School structures and facilities play a pivotal role in bringing back and retaining out-of-school children in the education system. For this pertinent reason, the Nairobi Regional Coordinator of Education, Mr. John Ololtua Lekakeny, adds that the renovations conducted by the Women Education Researchers of Kenya have been a big motivator for parents to support their children's attendance in school. He, however, insists more support is required to ensure children are provided with the infrastructure and school environment that is conducive to learning.
Bringing back also means you have to create the infrastructure for bringing back, right?
Let's talk about that.
Yes, you see, it has because you cannot bring them back if you have probably some classroom, or maybe you don't have a desk, or you don't have something that will support them to be able to come. So I think that's also one area that we are working on to see if once we identify them, then what are the requirements that will probably make us succeed to bring them back. And probably this is an area that may need more stakeholder participation and more support even other than just Women Education Researchers of Kenya and UNICEF. It might require even many other organizations. Some of these children may require uniform, they may require other needs, and therefore, though Women Education Researchers of Kenya and UNICEF have done very well partnering with us, I believe this is an area that still requires more support.
The renovations have proved to be a major landmark in the Operation Come to School project. Women Education Researchers of Kenya officers Lucy Tengeye and Diana Gaturi discuss how the rehabilitation component has influenced the entire campaign. The Women Education Researchers of Kenya were also able to keep track of the enrolled children's continuity and schooling status.
When we look at the attendance of girls, and according to our findings and research, we found out that even UNICEF found out that most of our girls do not attend classes and school during their menstrual period. So, and the only way to at least work out on that challenge is to make sure that these girls are supplied with sanitary towels so that they can be able to attend school and compete with the rest of their counterpart, that is the boys at the same level. Now, the other thing that we have been able to achieve so far is renovations. We have been able to renovate 99 blocks, toilet blocks, latrines blocks, and 6 classes in 6 schools.
The project has been able to target the schools that have the poorest of status toilets and classrooms through renovation and rehabilitation. The project has been able to distribute the out-of-school children with the back-to-school kits in 313 target schools out of the 448 which are yet to receive, and out of which 9,155 out-of-school children who have enrolled back to school have benefited.
With the influx of migrants from rural to urban centers, Nairobi's informal settlements grapple with numerous facets of poverty and marginalization. It is in these environments that alternative provision of basic education and training institutions, also known as APBET institutions, thrive as viable options in response to the educational needs of children, youths and adults unable to access formal educational institutions. Notably, Operation Come to School is being implemented in 448 target schools, of which 412 are APBET institutions. Charles Ouma, the National Chair of APBET Complementary School Association of Kenya, touches on the growth and challenges of schools in Nairobi's informal settlements.
APBET definitely means alternative provisions of basic education and training. The 90% or the 80% of APBET schools are found in the informal settlement. The alternative about these schools is just the infrastructure, that they are not measuring the standard already set for registration. That is the alternative. And the other alternative is that where the public schools, where the ministry cannot have access to put public schools, e.g. Kibera, some of where APBET schools are situated, the public schools cannot be there because of the standardization of coming up with the public schools.
Although the 2010 Constitution of Kenya recognizes education as a right for every person, more interventions are required to ensure that vulnerable and out-of-school children are supported to return to and remain in school. This calls for strong partnerships among the various stakeholders to scale up current efforts and make them count.